Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we're going to have a special preview first look at the game Rebels Against Rebellion. This is designed by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin and published by Flying Pig Games. It is currently on Kickstarter as I'm doing this. So what you will be seeing is not finished, so you can expect or perhaps not be surprised would be a better way to put it, if there are some minor changes to art and text and other things that we may see once I open it up and look inside the box. So this is a very interesting subject, and we'll take a look at the back here because it does a pretty good job of explaining it. So you can see right at the top, Tennessee voted to leave the Union. Scott County voted to leave Tennessee. And then it goes into some detail on here about how one of the counties in East Tennessee in the mountains, Scott County, defied the Confederacy by a vote of 521 to 19, which is pretty much overwhelming, remaining loyal to the Union and declaring itself the free and independent state of Scott. What followed was a brutal conflict of neighbor against neighbor, loyalist home guards, and common folk against Confederate raiders and secessionist guerrillas, fighting for control of the same hollows, farms, and creek beds. So this is Rebels Against Rebellion. As I mentioned, it is a card-driven area control game for 1 or 2 players set in East Tennessee during the American Civil War. So it's a deck builder. Each player will build a personal deck of unit and location cards representing their forces and territory under their control. Each turn you play cards to move into new territory, attack your opponent's holdings, gather precious resources, and strengthen your deck by recruiting new units and fortifying locations. This is not a war of armies and generals. This is a war at every person's door. Now, the artwork, from what I've seen, fantastic. And we'll see that in a little bit more detail here in a moment. So you can see here, we're going to have one game board, 47 cards. 19 of those will be unit cards. 28 of those will be location cards. 39 control markers, 50 food tokens, 2 score track markers, and a solitaire board. It is, as was mentioned earlier, 1 or 2 player game, 60-minute playtime, and for ages 14 and up. All right, so without further ado, let's take a look inside the box. All right, let's open it up. Now, the board is actually separate. I did receive this, play test prototype, if you will, from Flying Pig Games for the purpose of doing a video. You can see the kind of food tokens here. But the board actually is separate from this. There is the solitaire board, I believe, or the card decks are in here, but the actual game board is separate, and you will see it. But as you can see, it's all sealed up. It is a brand new prototype version. The cards here, you can get a quick sense of the artwork and how really nice it is, really well done. We'll talk about the artists in a moment, or I can just show you right here. Art and design by Kwan Chai Maria and Gina Reuter, or Reuter perhaps. These, I would say, are food tokens. There's a couple of discs in here as well, probably one for each player, I'm guessing. Then we have some blue and gray blocks, and I'm sure you can guess where those colors were chosen from. And here is the historical companion book. Now this is a nice chunky book here. It runs, 38 pages, including the bibliography. So as I am wont to do, I like to take a look at the printed matter, the rule books and such. So we'll take a quick spin here through the historical companion book. So here you go right here. We got the historical marker for the independent state of Scott from the Tennessee Historical Commission. Picture was taken by David Thompson, who is the designer, of course. I believe he lives in Ohio. So Tennessee's not too far away. We just have Kentucky between us. I also live in Ohio. So I won't read everything here. I'm just going to kind of flip through and you can see kind of what is in here. So David Thompson wrote the book, apparently. The cover designed by the artists. I mean, the artwork on here is just simply fantastic. Kudos to the artists for their work there. Historical consultants were the Scott County Historical Society. Oh, Stuart Ellis Gorman, proofreading and copy editing. He is Dr. Crossbow, I'm familiar with his work. He does some blogs and things. He's a war gamer, so I am familiar with him. Yeah, so then you've got your chronology here, right? Talks about the Tennessee Convention. That's right at the top. Fort Sumter attack. Andrew Johnson, of course, who became Lincoln's second vice president. At that time, he was, I think, a senator from Tennessee, or perhaps governor. I don't remember exactly. There is Andrew Johnson. Johnson was one of Tennessee's senators at the time. Yeah, okay. Of course, he was later a future president. I said Lincoln's second vice president. He obviously became president upon Lincoln's assassination. So now you have your timeline in here. A nice quote there from Andrew Johnson. Julia Markham, looks like something happened to her eye. The original Scott County Courthouse in Huntsville. Battle of Brimstone. So this, as I said, is probably pretty interesting if you enjoy history as much as I do. And I will undoubtedly read this, but right now I just want to keep things moving along because I don't want this to be 40 minutes long. But I do want to kind of flip through here, and you can see there's a lot of text. We're halfway through here. Some very nice pictures. This is from the National Park Service, Big Fork South River. There's the guy who gave us the term for sideburns. Somehow it got flipped around because his name was Burnside. Some famous, I guess, residents of Scott County. So these would be people that are probably going to appear in the game. Julia Markham, who we saw the photo of earlier, among other people. The Burke brothers and the Reed brothers. There is Wiley Reed, William Robbins, Dennis Trammell, the United States Army and Allied guerrillas, the 7th Tennessee Infantry Regiment, under Colonel William Clift. Most of the men were drawn from the Scott County Home Guard. There you go. Tinker Dave Beatty on the right there. The Confederate States Army and Allied guerrillas. So you have various regiments from mostly Tennessee, but we have an Alabama infantry here. Champ Ferguson, Samuel Champ Ferguson. Nice shot of Harper's Weekly featuring Champ Ferguson and his guard, Morgan's Raiders, the 2nd Kentucky Cavalry Regiment. John Hunt Morgan, of course, was the leader of that group. Nelson's Rangers, Scott County Rangers, James Rule, a secessionist guerrilla who operated in Kentucky and Tennessee. Then you've got the Gazetteer with locations. Here's a preview look at the map. Okay, so you get a look there at the map, which shows you kind of the area. You got some mountains here, valley, some more mountains over here. Of course, there is water. There's always rivers, right? Rivers, lakes, streams, all that good stuff, and various locations. You can see area movement, kind of, not really area movement, but point-to-point movement type of thing. Areas outside of Scott County. Then you've got the appendices, starting with loyalism in East Tennessee. Votes on secession. This is interesting. So the Tennessee vote on secession convention, no, against, was actually higher than yes. Then in the secession referendum on June 8th, which was after Fort Sumter, it went up to almost 70% for and just over 30% against. And for Scott County, they were no, and they were no by even more after the attack on Fort Sumter. Slavery and researching Scott County's role in the Civil War. And then your big bibliography, plenty of research done. If you're not familiar with David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin's work, you probably should be, because they are very talented designers who do an excellent job of injecting good history into their games. And they pick topics which are themselves very interesting and not all that well covered, generally speaking. Okay, so here we have Rebels Against Rebellion. This is the rule book. So we'll flip through here really quick. And you can see you've got your game board and your 47 cards, 39 control markers, 22 Loyalists, 17 Confederate, 50 food tokens, 40 light, 10 dark, 2 score track markers, 1 for the Loyalists, 1 for the Confederates, and a solitaire board. And the Solitaire board is right there, and it's in the box, and I can see it, which is off camera right now, but I can eyeball it from where I'm standing. Okay, unit cards. So these are unit cards. You can see they've got the Scott County Rangers here for this first one, then the Loyalists, right? So these would be Confederates and supporters of remaining with the Union. Then you've got the Confederate regulars, the 11th Tennessee Infantry. So 1, name. 2 is the affiliation. Gray would be Confederate. Blue would be Loyalists. 3, attributes. And we'll get into what those mean, I'm sure, here in a bit. Linked location. Down here we have Jacksboro. So these don't have a linked location, apparently. 5, bolster or improvement cost. Again, that only applies to the Confederate Army unit. And then 6 down here at the bottom is the starting card indicator with a star, a gray star for the Confederates and a blue star for the Loyalists. Location cards, again, you get the name, you get the region. Brown are within Scott County, gray are outside. So Big South Fork River is in Scott County, Jacksboro is not. And then the actions that you can take, actions and attributes, I guess. Starting card indicator, again, the star would indicate which side. Down here, improved. So name, location, actions, and attributes. Unit attributes, linked, basic, location, brimstone. And that's brown, so that would be inside Scott County. Improvement costs. Locations on the game board. So you have your name, Somerset. The 2 is the region, brown within Scott, gray outside Scott. So you get the idea, right? It's consistency. Step value, or star value, sorry, 3 down here. Food production is 4, so you can see it's a 1. 5, upgraded attributes is here. 6, loyalist starting locations would be blue star. There's one right there for Chitwoods. Connections to other locations by road and water and paths. So you can see the various types of connections there. Game setup. So this goes through where you place everything at start. I won't go through that. How to play. We'll do this real quick because I'd like to wrap it up soon, and I do want to show you the cards and the map. So you play cards. So beginning with the Confederate player, who goes first, you take turns until someone wins the game. On your turn, you play cards from your hand to take actions and then replenish your hand with cards from your personal deck. Okay, so you play cards from your hand one at a time to perform actions. Complete each action before moving on to the next. You may stop playing cards whenever you choose. Okay. Each time you play a card, you can choose an action on the card. You then complete the action in full, including paying any food and playing any additional cards as required, and then you discard the card and any other cards to your personal discard pile, unless instructed otherwise. Okay, controlling locations, we'll skip that for now. After you've performed all the actions you wish to, you may discard any number of the cards remaining in your hand. You place these cards in your personal discard pile, and then you would draw from your personal deck until you have 5 in your hand. Okay, if there aren't enough, then you would shuffle your discard pile to form a new deck and continue drawing. Actions. So this will describe the actions in the game. Each card lists its available actions in left side panel. Some actions are available to loyalists only. These icons are highlighted in blue. Okay, you are the Confederates and you control brimstone. You can perform the food and whatever that is, we'll find out. You cannot perform this action, which is probably, it's blue, so obviously it's something that the loyalists can do. That is improve control. 1 or 2, take food, right? So I guess this would be taking food from the common supply. Put them into your personal supply. Always take lighter colored tokens if there are any available. Only take the darker tokens once all light tokens have been taken. You can play a location card with this icon on it and pay a food to place a control marker. Then down here, well, this is just an example. You play the brimstone card and choose the improved control. You pay 1 food, score 1 point, place a second control marker onto the brimstone space on the board, and swap the location card for its upgraded version, which is the Captain William Robbins card. Yeah, Captain William Robbins. The Captain William Robbins card will now provide you with additional benefits. Bolster is this one. You play the Wartburg card and choose the bolster action. You choose the 3rd Tennessee infantry card. First Tennessee infantry cavalry card rather instructs you to take it as well. You pay 2 food, which is the indicated amount, and place both cards into your discard pile. You can improve a unit. And what else? Move, that's what that is. That symbol indicates move. So you can play Chitwood's location and choose the move action. Chitwood's is the source. You could move to Trammels, initiating an attack, or to Slavin Mill, immediately taking control. You cannot move to Somerset, as it is a Confederate starting location, or to Buffalo, as you already have control. Then there's the attack action. To resolve an attack, you play cards. The attacker must play 1 additional eligible card from their hand face down in front of them, keeping it hidden from the defender. The defender must then either play 1 eligible card face down in front of them or pass. If they choose to defend, they will start their next turn with fewer than 5 cards in hand. So that's kind of the penalty, I guess, for defending. Both the attacker and defender may play cards with the attack icon. This includes all unit cards as well as some improved location cards. Ensure that any card with the move, I guess that's a supply icon, has supply lines. The defender may play the target's location card as well. No other cards can be played. Card limits. The attacker can play between 1 and 3 cards, depending on the connection. So you have a road, water. So path gives you 1. This kind of models, I think, the difficulty in moving between locations, depending on the infrastructure, such as it was. If it's water, they can move 1 or 2. If it's a road, they can do 1, 2, or 3. Defender can always play a maximum of 2 cards. Target location and a single card with attack icons or both. Attacker must play at least 1 card. The defender can choose to play no cards. When both sides have finished playing cards, you flip them up. Attacker counts the attack icons on their revealed cards. The defender counts attack and defend icons. If a card has both, count defend only. Do not count the attack. Okay. You compare the strengths, and if the defender wins, if it's higher or equal, the attacker wins if it's higher than the defender. If the defender wins, they retain control. No points are gained or lost by either side. If the attacker wins, the defender loses control, so they have to remove their control marker or markers from the target location and give it to the attacker. The defender then searches their cards to find the target location card and places it in the location supply. That would be the attacker's location. If they search their deck, they shuffle it afterwards. Adjust scores. The defender loses points equal to the number of stars on the location. Attacker gains 1 point for each control marker removed, regardless of the number of stars on the location. And you clean up, and the attacker can choose to take control as a follow-up action. So you'd have to take another action, I guess, to play another card. Yeah, so to take control, you have to pay a food. You have to play a bolster. Is that what that one is? Icon from your hand. I have to look. Improve control. That's what it is. Okay, and then they place a marker, take the location card, and score a point for each star. Okay, supply lines. Confederate unit with the supply line icon requires a supply line, an unbroken chain of Confederate-controlled locations connected by road, linking back to the location indicated next to that. Okay. Yeah, so this one has that on it. So there's a location there. It's very small. I can't read it. Well, it does tell us here. The Morgan's Raiders unit card requires a supply line to Somerset. You control Chitwoods, Slavin Mill, and Huntsville. Chitwoods, you may play Morgan's Raiders when moving from Chitwoods to Buffalo Creek or when defending and attacking to Chitwoods. You may not play Morgan's Raiders when moving from Chitwoods into Trammels or Buffalo. They are connected by path, not road. Okay. Ending the game. You win if at the start of your turn at least one of the following conditions hold. You have 20 or more points and your opponent has 10 or fewer. You have more points than your opponent and there are no light-colored food tokens in the common supply. You are the Confederates and the Loyalists have no control markers on the board. Game ends in a draw if the final food token, a dark-colored token, is taken from the common supply. So I guess they ran out of food. Then we have an extended example of play, which if I had known, I might have gone through this, but I'm not going to do that right now. We do have our solitaire rules at the back. I won't go through that either. Just understand that there are solitaire rules. Solitaire version of the game, you control the loyalists. So that's a key point. You control the loyalists and the game controls the Confederates. Again, these cards just look great. I love the artwork in this game. Yeah, I mean, this is a prototype version and it already looks great. Okay, so we'll look at the solitaire board here since it's in the box. And it's, again, this is not a finished version necessarily. So it may or may not look different when you get it after you back this campaign. So you've got your discard and draw for the two sides, right? Or I guess this is for your side. Yeah, because these are unit cards up here, and these are location cards down here, I guess. Again, I didn't read the solitaire rules, so I'm guessing some of this, but this is just the solitaire board. So yeah, you've got this move, bolster, improve control, take food, pass. Okay. This might be the board for the bot. All right, I'm going to pause a moment and get the map out, and we'll show that, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I can't quite get everything in the shot, so what we're going to do is just kind of, I'll start here at the bottom and slide up, but we're only missing like, a couple inches maybe at the top. So here's the map, again, prototype, so could change. Really cool, you got your turkey up here, Scott County, Tennessee, 1849, and the various places, right? So you can see it's pretty straightforward. You've got your symbology that we saw in the rule book on all the various locations. Some are a little thin, like Buffalo Creek has 1 food. Huntsville, 3 stars. Chitwoods, Trammels. Here's Brimstone and Brimstone Creek. You can see the various values. So Huntsville is the big one. That is the county seat. So that is the biggest town. You can see this is a path. We've got roads. We've got water. Right, that's kind of how everything plays together. You do have areas for various cards that I think start there. So for example, down here we have the 3rd Tennessee Infantry and the 1st Tennessee Cavalry. Then you have the 43rd Alabama and Nelson's Raiders here. Over here we've got the 11th Tennessee. And then let me slide this. There's the top. Okay, turn it a little bit. We've got the Confederate Militia, 5th, Tennessee Cavalry, Morgan's Raiders, Tinker Dave Beatty. See the turkey, it's in my brain. Captain James Rolls and Champ Ferguson over here. All right, so that's the map. Very nice. The artwork is, like I said, it's really, really great. I'm going to... I promised to show you the cards, so I'm going to open them up and we'll spin through these quickly. Okay, here we go. So Rebels against Rebellion. There, I'll give you a nice clean look at the back. All right, so these are locations, as you can probably guess. No Business Creek, Trammels. So Trammels is on the map, of course, right here. And No Business Creek is over here. And we have Captain Bill Hembry of the Home Guard, the Scott County Loyalists, Julia Markham, Buffalo, Camp Chitwood in Chitwood, Jamestown, Somerset, the Breastworks at Huntsville. The artwork is great. I mean, you've got the faded mountains here in the back and the clouds, the blue sky. Just great. New River. Here's the 1st Tennessee Cavalry. You can see Wartburg on there. When you bolster the 3rd Tennessee Infantry, also take the 1st Tennessee Cavalry. Here's the 11th Tennessee Infantry, Jacksboro. Champ Ferguson, Nelson's Rangers. The Big South Fork River, Brimstone Creek, Slavin Mill, Major James Duncan. Home Guard, you got Union uniforms on. Tinker Dave Beatty, there's Buffalo. Chitwoods, Jellicoe, Wartburg, Huntsville. Check out the flowers in the foreground. The Burke brothers, no business over here. 3rd Tennessee Infantry from Wartburg, which is down at the bottom here. The 43rd Alabama, also Wartburg, Confederate militia from Jellicoe. The Scott County Rangers. So these were Scott County, I guess, residents maybe who were in favor of secession. Captain William Robbins. Bryniffian Farms. Farm. That's a tough one. Wow, that must be Welsh. Dennis Trammell. 7th Tennessee, Scott County Loyalists, Buffalo Creek, Jacksboro, Monticello, Homestead, the Reed brothers, no business, Captain James Rule, Morgan's Raiders, Scott County Secessionists, and there's another one. And we're back to where we started at No Business Creek. All right, so that is the look at Rebels Against Rebellion. This is on Kickstarter currently. Well, if you watch this later, then maybe it's not anymore. But as I'm doing this, it is about to launch. And again, the very talented design team of David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin. This is from Flying Pig Games. Fantastic artwork. Great historical detail. You might say it's dripping with it. As is generally true of the games that these guys make. So looks like another winner for Flying Pig Games. We're done here. I hope you enjoyed the look, and hopefully maybe it'll make you back the game, or at least maybe pick it up when it hits retail. But that is going to do it for this one. I thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments section. Please consider liking, sharing, hyping, or maybe even subscribing to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Quick shout out to my channel members. I appreciate the support. But yeah, we are done here for now. I will be back with something else down the road. Hopefully you'll check that out. But until then, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered. And as always, happy gaming.